Hey there, welcome to the Gyro Step, a Milwaukee Bucks podcast, proudly a part of the Blue Wire Podcast Network and GSPN, and presented by our pals at PrizePicks, where you can use code Eurostep to get $50 the first time you play a $5 lineup, win or lose. Just remember to use the promo code. I am Ty Windisch, joined as always by Rohan Katti. And Rohan, really tough news today. Does not look like the Milwaukee Bucks are going to get two protected first-round picks and Scotty Barnes for franchise icon Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I was making fan cams of 2028 and 2030 Raptors top 8 protected picks. I was really excited to think about the 14-year-olds. I'm going to stop myself there. Actually, the way that was going, basketball players, what they could be in a few years is what I meant by that. But Giannis, who's on his Brazil tour, who almost absolutely obliterated his lower body trying to dunk on like a wet outdoor court in Brazil. Please don't do that again, Giannis. Quotes per via Coast to Coast Brazil, talking about the finals. They are different. Quote, I hope to be back soon with the Bucks. Seems like good news. I was being facetious, especially about the kids. But how's it going, Rohan?
Doing well after that news. It's good to hear from Giannis. Even though he's just been very, very active on like social media this off season, we haven't actually gotten any like quotes of him saying things. This feels like the first time in a while we've gotten that, and it's really good,
Yeah.
right? It's really good. This is as close as we're gonna get as a confirmation that Giannis will not be requesting a trade from the Milwaukee Bucks, even though this is something as you and I have chronicled over this last like month? Has it only been
Yeah,
a
it
month of
was
this?
not even. I think our trade pod was like middle of May.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So over these last few weeks,
Yeah.
Giannis is not going anywhere.
hmm
And I can't wait, Ty. Let's book our calendars for next summer. Let's do this all again.
Hopefully, maybe they'll just win the title this time. That was the one
It
year
does
we
that
kind of
doesn't
got a
matter.
reprieve.
It happened after they won the title.
I don't think it really happened that summer. Not
There were
not
still there
not
were
like
still
this. It wasn't like
still
this.
quote unquote reports.
Yeah, yeah, but
I
it
know. I'm
doesn't.
just joking
This one was
around.
different. I mean, when they have a good season, it doesn't feel the same. I would say. We also got Jake Fisher the other day saying, basically saying front offices around the league don't think it's happening. And then just today on ESPN, Brian Windhorst said flat out, there is no Giannis trade talks. Giannis has not requested a trade. The Bucks aren't trading him. So no one's saying specifically like, yeah, he's not going to get traded because I think nobody wants to go out on that ledge. One, because it kills some of the clickbait, and two, you really never know. I mean, things could change, right? Situations are possible to change, but I would say there's no reason to believe Giannis will be traded at this point. And he continues to just go around sharing Bucks stuff, sharing his favorite Bucks memories, laughing with Dame and Kuz on Instagram about not leaving the Bucks, and Bobby on Twitter. That was Instagram too, actually. So I don't think he's going anywhere. So we good to get that out of the way. Great to see Giannis continue to, not torture Bucks fans too much. Not that he was doing anything, but
No,
helping
no,
out,
he
helping
he
out.
again, as we've said, Giannis is not going like he has never done any of this. Everything he said has always been the right thing and reaffirming his commitment to Milwaukee and how he wants to stay here and he wants to be on a winning team in Milwaukee. And I think that's very important. He's never said yeah or given any indication of yeah, I don't want to be here.
Was it last
He's
summer
never done that.
where he said in Europe like they'd have to kick me out, like they'd have to, like that I'm not gonna leave. They're gonna have to trade me out of there, and the Bucks thankfully are clearly not interested in doing that, which they should not be. But yeah, so that's good. I don't think we need to spend a ton of time on this, frankly, but it's always
It's
good.
just it's good. It's really good. It's really good to hear. And I don't think this is gonna stop the new quote unquote news stories about Giannis, wanting to leave. There's always going to be some new reporter talking about how Giannis is preparing to sign a long-term deal in another city. He's living there already.
Yeah,
All of these. It's crazy, Ty. Giannis lives in like 17 different cities. That's
I,
what I've learned.
it's so funny to me that like the people who do this stuff don't do the research. Like it's all Knicks, 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 and Giannis said before like doesn't really want to play in a big market. Doesn't really like the lack of privacy in an LA, or certainly it would be in New York as well. very odd to me that that's the team
Miami.
everyone picked. Miami's not even a bit. I mean,
No, I'm
Miami.
saying in years past. In
Oh
years
yeah,
past.
yeah. It's very, and also like they've never had enough stuff. It's never made sense. The Knicks thing is weird. And that's why I actually have for a while been like, this is literally just something for people to talk about because we did the pod. We know the teams that would make sense. I'm sorry if Giannis came to the Bucks and said like, hey, I want to trade and it's got to be the Knicks no matter what. I don't think it would really, I just don't think that would happen. And I don't think it would work. I don't think he would end up there
No,
personally, but it doesn't
don't.
matter. We don't
It
need to do
wouldn't
this,
work.
but it doesn't,
It wouldn't
it's
work.
not a thing. Anyway,
The only and just to bookend that, the only two teams that we said made sense, one are currently tied in the NBA Finals, and the other one seemingly are getting Kevin Durant, maybe in the
well,
Spurs.
and that's why I think we actually are going to get a reprieve because it does. The teams have accepted it again. The Raptors going through this like every 3 years is very, very funny. Now the Raptors are like, oh, wait, there is not mutual interest after all, which talk about being over your skis on a report, buddy. That was an aggressive one. But now they're like, oh, maybe we'll get Kevin Durant. And I think they're going to end up finding out real quick that, like, I think you're over your skis talking about Kevin Durant, much less Giannis. Like, I don't know if you have the facilities for either of those. Not saying they don't have the assets, but when you talk about players of this caliber, usually they have to actually, want to play there. I mean, you could Kawhi it and just hope that you make the run. I don't think that's going to happen either, to be quite frank with you.
I beg them to do it again so
They
they can
should.
just leave again.
That or just keeping the powder dry. That's my favorite when teams are just like, oh, we're not going to trade and upgrade our team because
Who was
we
it that
might
they
get
signed a
Giannis.
few years ago where they matched the dollar amount so that it would work for Giannis, a Giannis trade? Was that
Oh,
Alex Len? No, it wasn't Alex Len. Who was it?
I mean,
It was some It was someone on the Raptors that they signed to an exact dollar amount so they could be used in a Giannis trade. And I keep forgetting who it
I
is.
don't, I didn't know that one actually. So
Oh yeah, yeah, that was a thing.
that's funny.
This was
Um,
like 5 years ago.
yeah, I have no recollection of this. It's very funny that Masai tried to dip back into this one though. Like really playing the hits here.
I don't even know if he did. I
I
think he
think
was
he
just
did.
like,
I
yeah,
think no. That came from him.
yeah, fair.
That 100% was from like his office directly,
Yeah.
from his work phone. Maybe his personal.
He's the one that put out the report.
Yes, I think actually. I mean, not he didn't post it himself, but he might as well have.
No, that's what I'm saying. He posted
Now that would be really funny. We're thinking about Giannis. Send tweet. That's
it.
gonna be Ishbia.
That is going to be Ishbia.
That's a. By the way, I mean we have a lot of draft stuff to cover, both like some concepts and actual players. The Ishbia thing is too funny to not talk about. Friend of the pod, Gerald Bourget, just leaks a letter, or was sent a letter. Ishbia sent to all the Suns employees. It's basically like, I've failed you, I've let you down, and you're reading the first bit, and you're like, yeah, okay, it's big of him to realize it, right? I haven't been doing enough, so I'm just gonna hire a bunch of Michigan State cronies, and I'm actually gonna do everything now. Which, by the way, like his first day, he did the KD trade himself. Like, this is actually one of the
Does
craziest
anyone
developments.
believe him?
What do you?
Do you
Well,
think
yeah.
he's gaslighting himself?
No,
Do
I
you think
believe
he
him.
himself genuinely believes that he hasn't been doing enough?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
See, I think he's just trying to like make people like get to the fact like, oh, now going to be doing it, making it seem like, no, I wasn't doing it before, even though he was.
Oh, well, but I feel like he kind of did put it out there though that like, hey, I was the one who made the Kevin Durant call. Like when a president is getting like the exclusive feed for like a Navy SEAL mission, that was him with the Kevin Durant call. As you know, I made that. I was on there saying, yeah, sure, 7 picks and Mikal Bridges for sure. This'll
Let's
work.
do it. Call it in.
Didn't work.
Yeah.
No,
And now he's
I
going to
think
the
it's
Spurs.
real. I think when you make that much money, you just lose connection with reality.
Oh, 100%.
So that's in terms of like you being failable as a person.
Yeah.
So he looks at any problem. He's like, you know what the solution is here? More Ishbia.
More Ishbia. That's always the solution. I just don't like it's always how much more Ishbia can there be though?
I don't
That's
know.
my question.
Well, I mean, the people he overruled weren't crony enough, so now they're gonna level it up a bit.
Now he doesn't even have to overrule.
Right now they're just like, yeah, whatever. Just Just I'll sign my name on whatever you want, Matt. Sure.
Previously, he had to like fight for what he wanted. Now it's just going to be get whatever he wants. Is that the new Ishbia? Is that more
I don't
Ishbia?
know. It's gonna be
Crazy.
it's not really as funny as possible until he just takes the job too.
Oh,
Cuban
pulls a
style.
pop, but bad.
Cuban style. Like I'm the
Oh, true.
GM also.
Yeah,
Or
that'd be.
coach. Coach would be way funnier. I think Sarver, which funny franchise, was Sarver the one who was like trying to draw up plays and they were like, yeah, if we set a screen in the paint, we'll get a 3 in the key. Like we can't do this.
I think it was.
So bad ownership legacy there in Phoenix. Like this would be like if Vivek was like, you know what? I need to go way harder. Most of the owners learn Ishbia is going the other direction. I wish the
No.
Bucks could have more feasible trades with the Suns because clearly they're like the number one team to fleece right now. But I don't think the Kevin Durant thing is a real thing.
Hey, you want a young forward, who can play inside, be a slasher, play some defense. He's not going to hog the ball away from Devin Booker.
It's just so much salary.
Yeah.
That's the
Doing
real
him plus Pat.
plus Bob, and I still don't think you're there.
I don't think you're there.
You're getting close. I think KD is 40-some million.
Something like that.
The other, Dame's contract would make a lot more sense, but I just don't think there's no logic behind that. So
No.
Anyway, anything else quickly you wanted to bounce to before we do our draft? So we're gonna talk about the concept of trading.
What are
for
your
draft
thoughts on
picks.
what are your thoughts on the final stuff thus far? If we're just talking general NBA.
I like my Pacers in 6 prediction, but I honestly think Game 3 just decides the series.
Yeah, game three decide. See, here's the thing. I don't even know if that's true because
I think it's
OKC
true.
went down 2-1 before. They've been down 2-1.
Yeah, I just think, like, I think the Pacers are. I would feel a little nervy if I were a Pacers fan right now. Like, obviously,
How about this? If the Thunder win game 3, they're winning the series.
Yes.
If they lose, it's favored Pacers, but I don't think it's a guarantee. But if the Thunder win game 3, it's over.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
Because
I think that's
then
fair.
that would require Game 7, or I guess Game 5. It would require the Pacers winning again in Oklahoma City. It just feels unlikely.
Yeah, but everything about the Pacers is unlikely. So
That's very true. That's very
who
true.
are they going to sacrifice this time?
I don't know.
Garland. Isn't Garland from Indiana?
Is he?
Is he? Did I
don't
just
know.
make that up?
I have no idea. I don't know many Darius Garland facts.
Born in Gary, Indiana. They
Nice.
sacrificed
Wow.
Garland.
Does not strike me as a Gary man.
No, it really doesn't.
Good for
It
Darius.
strikes me as a Darius. Oh, dang it. Did we just make the
Yeah.
same?
Nice. That's, I guess, news. He's gonna probably not get traded now if he ever was with this injury. That'll keep
I
him
don't think
out.
he was going to, but
I think there was a little bit of thing. Windhorst keeps shooting.
but the
it
thing is the
down.
team knew already
Well,
that
yeah,
he was going to get the surgery.
that's fair.
So
No, I didn't
I
know.
know.
I didn't know. I
That's
think
fair.
teams
That's
want him. I think teams want him, and the Cavs would probably consider stuff. But
Yeah, but like, what team makes sense? I like the Kings need a point guard, which is crazy because they've traded all the good point guards. Um,
that team,
I don't know what they would give. Like, does Levine make sense in Cleveland? I
No.
don't think so.
absolutely with Mitchell, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Do you think this summer is going to be disappointing? They keep
In what
hyping it
regard?
up. They keep hyping it up with transactions, like just not for
Oh
the
yeah,
Bucks.
Shams
but
is clearing his calendar
Dude.
to look at his phone.
by the like, okay, what do you quit pickup basketball to not miss like an Omri Caspi signing? What does that mean? What is he not going to eat? Like, what does he have left to cut?
That's his job. Like,
Well, but like he goes above and beyond. I just like when I read that, I was like, I'm actually worried about him. He's just
I'm
going to be
not.
disheveled on television.
no,
Like-
he's too prideful for that.
Well, I just can't imagine what else he does.
That's fair. All he does is just look at his phone.
That's like his
Screen
thing.
time's 24
yeah,
hours.
it's like 23 hours or something.
It's
I'm
crazy.
like, is it going to be legit 24? It's going to be 40. He's going to have like 2 phones going the whole day.
Oh, how many phones do you think he has?
I mean, at least two, right? You probably have to have. Well, I was gonna say you have to have a personal one. Does he just not?
That's the thing. Maybe he's cutting, maybe he's
Two work
combining the two
phones.
phones.
And
Yeah.
he's got an Eastern Conference phone and a Western Conference phone.
No personal phone anymore. He used to have three. That's the cut. He's just
Yeah,
cutting out
that's
the
the
personal
cut.
phone.
That's the cut.
He's like, oh, which conference is less interesting? The East, that's my new personal
Yeah.
phone. He's texting people, it's like looking at his group chat, hey, who wants to hang out tonight? It's just like
It's
Mitch Kupchak.
it's like that
What's
that
it?
yeah, that like the Atlantic editors ends up in there as well.
Oh yeah, he's in the signal chat.
Yeah. Um how do we never had that NBA situation pop up before it happened to like national security?
That's
That
crazy,
never happened in
honestly.
NBA, right? You would think it would.
I don't think
Maybe it
so.
has, and they just you don't want to burn your source, so they didn't do it. It probably must have happened.
Yeah, it's like it's too like who hasn't sent something to the wrong chat before?
Phil
Like
Jackson was running a cell phone and never sent something to the wrong person. No shot.
Ray Allen's out here
Oh
tweeting
my. Okay,
DMs,
move. We're
like
moving on. We're moving on. Well, let's talk about the draft. So we instead of doing a big board this year because the Bucks hold currently the 47th overall pick and that's it. And usually when we do this, we do like, okay, these are realistic targets that could be there for the Bucks. It just frankly sucks to do that for the 47th overall pick. It's not very fun, especially in this draft, which is actually a little shallow because I don't know if you saw Sam Vecini shared the numbers on this. It's like half as big in terms of early entrance and stuff as previous drafts because of NIL and college being actually viable to stay now. So we just went through and picked like our guys, the players we like throughout the class, and maybe the Bucks trade a future pick or something to trade up, whatever. But I want to talk about before we do the players that idea. So I have been mostly against the idea of saying, "Oh, we want to move the 2031 pick. We will trade it for two bad firsts." I will give you an example. Brooklyn has 19, 26, and 27. Orlando, kind of a sneaky trade option on draft day, I would say, has 16 and 25 and a fairly full roster already. OKC has 24 and maybe can't even roster it. Utah has 21 as well as a tie lottery pick at 5. Like, that's a pretty full roster. So there are some teams that I do think are going to be like, hey, we don't really want this pick necessarily, or at least all of these picks. And the Bucks could probably get into at least a late first. OKC has 24 and 15 actually, so a couple of pretty good picks there for the Thunder. And again, like no spots, and they have Topic coming in and all these young guys already, and maybe they'll keep one of those picks, but like that's a team who certainly I think would be interested in. Oh, maybe that 2031 pick is awesome. We'll give you some picks this year for it. Same deal for Brooklyn, who it's like, how many semi-intriguing young guys can we have on this roster? Like at a certain point, it's just too many. So I have been against that. Here's what I said earlier I would shock you with. I would do it for the right player. I would do it straight up for one pick if Carter Bryant was on the board when you could get the pick, which I just don't think is going to
Carter
happen.
Bryant.
I just don't think it's going to happen. That's my pipe dream guy for this draft, though.
Tell me why. And I say that for two reasons. One, it's content.
Yeah.
Two, I've only been looking at second round guys.
Oh, okay. So I cheated you on the assignment. I mostly have guys 20 and below per ESPN, but this is the one where I caught wind of this guy earlier and I've watched some of it and I'm just such a fan. So ESPN had him at 12, which is where it's like semi-realistic. I think 12 is still ambitious, probably can't get that high, but maybe he slides, you never know. He's 6'8" with a 7-foot wingspan. Projects as elite 3-and-D wing. I will say the shot is like maybe a question mark. 37% from three, but just under 70% from free throw this last season. But really athletic, moves well, and I just think his floor is going to be elite role player, and maybe he develops more. I find it really hard to project wing players. The classic example is like Kawhi Leonard just didn't really look like he was going to be able to do all that much, and then just became Michael Jordan 2.0. Like I wouldn't say Carter Bryant's going to do that by any means, but I just think being
You
able
could be
to.
Kawhi Leonard. You could also be Marjan Beauchamp.
I don't think he'll be Marjan though. Like I think he's already just a lot more fluid than Beauchamp was and proved it at probably a higher level of competition. But Carter Bryant for me is the guy where it's like if there's any universe to realistically get this guy and put him on a Giannis team, I would really like to do so.
Okay.
I
That
mean,
makes
obviously
sense. And I
like
guess this
Cooper
kind of answers
Flag too, but that's we don't have to do that.
no.
Yeah,
No. We already talked up top that Giannis isn't going
yeah,
anywhere. Uh I guess maybe to take a step back quick before we
yeah.
dive into that a little bit more is what kind of players are you
Oh,
looking for?
good.
And I
Yeah,
think
that's
you kind
good.
of answered my question a little bit.
Yeah,
Is you're looking for more of these like wing do it all kind of guys, right? Who
yeah,
can be like kind of switchy defenders, who can shoot, dribble, do what you need to do. You trust them to make a decision. And that's what you think Carter Bryant's going to be.
yeah. Exactly. We need an Nesmith. The Bucks just we talked about this on our last pod. I think like there's no credible threes. Like we think Andre Jackson Jr. I think could be, but it is still a projection, kind of a question mark at this point. And he's just minutes go away every time the Bucks acquire a different defender, whether it's Pat Bev or Kyle Kuzma. So assuming Doc is still around because he is at this point, it's just like is he even going to play? Like I don't know. So bringing in someone who can slot in there makes a lot of sense and feels very important to me.
Yeah, I think that makes a ton of sense because that's where the NBA is, right? You and I have talked a lot about what we can, sort of take away from these playoffs and what are the Bucks lacking. And it's that kind of player, right? It's those sort of do it all wings who you can rely on. And apparently every other team has one except for the Milwaukee
Yeah,
Bucks.
that part is
We were
unfortunate.
hoping that could be Kyle Kuzma, but that does not look like that's going to be the case at all.
Yeah, no, let's take another
Maybe it's
stab at
Chris
it.
Middleton. Am I still going through the stages of grief?
Yes. I tell you what,
Yeah.
if he opts out, like it's happening. But I just don't think there's a world where he's opting out.
Yeah. Unless there's just he's the under the table dealings.
Or if they buy him out, I guess, which is theoretically possible, but I assume they'd rather try and trade him as an expiring at the deadline.
Yeah. He's so valuable as an expiring and as
Yeah.
a player
Yeah.
and as a person. We love
Yeah.
you, Chris.
Can't argue with that. But what's your thought on that concept of the 31 or I guess 32? I mean, they could trade either, but trading that pick to pick up picks to use this year.
See, my thing is I'm a little hesitant on it
Yeah.
because that's your premier asset,
Yeah,
right?
that's it.
That's your blue chip. Anything like that's it. That's your best asset right now that's tradable. Like aside from Giannis, obviously, but we already
Yes.
talked about that. It's no longer do you even have Dame as a piece that
Yeah.
you can trade, unfortunately, and not that it makes any sense really. And you don't have any great promising young players. The one you do is AJ Green and Andre Jackson Jr. Uh, which are, they're good. AJ Green especially is a vital piece of this team. You don't really want to trade him. You
Yeah.
need him. Ajax just isn't as good of a prospect to be considered more valuable than that 2031 or 2032 pick for the Bucks.
Certainly not.
It's just so making that trade for kind of a middle of the first round pick kind of feels like lost value to me.
Yeah. I mean, listen, if Brooklyn sent three of them, I would probably do that.
I think so. Like I think that yeah, from a value perspective, like straight assets, like what are you getting back? I think that's probably fine. But you also have to think about the Bucks and their draft record
Well, let's
and
give me
how,
three
how that
swings.
they've had so many swings, Ty. We've gone through
They've
this.
not though. I think has
They've
Horst
had
used what, like three total firsts and actually
and
picked
yet
players?
and it was
Beauchamp and AJ Johnson.
Dante Beauchamp, AJ. Was DJ Wilson technically his first pick? I think it was.
Oh yeah, but it felt kiddish. But yeah, you could. DJ Wilson would be the other one.
And Dante felt buddish.
Yeah, yeah, but I mean,
So
yeah. No,
so it's like
I
Marjan,
don't.
AJ. I mean, AJ Johnson's probably a good pick. We just will never know from a
Yeah,
Bucks
Dante
perspective.
kind of turned out. But so the Brook, like if Brooklyn, I don't think they would send three firsts.
I would
Nine,
make sure
nine,
you have to send three first.
like 19 and 26. I mean, on the one hand, it's like theoretically you go, well, it's one first for two firsts, so it's a good deal. But I would flip it and say, if you are, you know, let's not even say Dallas. If you are Washington at 6, would you take 19 and 26 for 6? I'd think hell no, right? Like this isn't the NFL. The value falls off a cliff for these picks. So
After like pick 10 or 8.
yeah, I feel like there's kind of like, there's the absolute top where like you couldn't trade for one if you wanted to. Then like 2 through 5 is one thing. And then I'd say like, yeah, through about 10. And then it's like the late lottery. And then there's like the Giannis range, like the right after lottery. 19 is already kind of low. So I agree with you. I wouldn't, I think 3, I'm like, okay, let me take 3 swings.
Three is tempting. 3 first round picks is hard to turn down.
I just like if you just looked at the consensus, like I'm gonna pull up Sam Vecini's big board, and we're gonna take the top 3 guys available at those spots. It'd be almost impossible to not get a good NBA player, and we know how valuable that is on a rookie scale
And
deal.
those picks let you make deals this summer too.
Yeah, yeah,
Like those are
smaller
additional
deals.
assets to put in entice teams like, hey, you get this first round pick this year.
Yeah,
Like you
so
could make that trade and not even take all 3 of them into camp with you.
yeah, I think the OKC 15 and 24, just because 15 is pretty good. That's kind of interesting to me. That's risky. I think OKC is the team most likely to do this, by the way.
They're giving away picks.
Well, that's their MO is just like, you know what, actually, too, the reason I really think they would do this, aside from Pressey just being like a sicko, they don't really have the like centerpiece pick right now. We looked at this when we looked at the Giannis options. Like, there's no pick that they have where you're like, oh, that's the one. Like, they have some okay Clippers stuff, but the Clippers just are like, yeah, we're just going to be good every year. So it's not, you kind of felt like post
Houston's
PG.
good.
Oh, yeah, Houston's really good. You felt like post PG, like, oh, maybe those Clippers picks as soon as like next year are going to be awesome. I don't know. It just feels like Ty Lue, good vets. Like, I don't know if they're ever going to fully crater.
Kawhi's there.
Yeah, I mean, Harden hitting free agency, right? Or no, he is an
He's
option, I
a
think.
I think he's a free agent.
Yeah, so, I mean, if they don't keep him, maybe
He's going to be the Bucks starting point guard.
that would be interesting. But I think those are probably, I would need a lot. I would definitely not do it like if Brooklyn's sending you 26 and 27, I'm good on that. That's just,
Yeah.
the swing is too low. I would also do, and I sent this one to you, and these are the ones I find the most interesting. 2031 Bucks pick and Pat Connaughton for 25 overall and Wendell Carter Jr. Something like, can we upgrade a salary slot by sending you a pick for a bad pick?
It's pretty interesting.
The way Lowe talked about Wendell Carter and the Magic, I feel like he's not as well regarded as Bucks fans probably think. Kind of just like the
Yeah,
vibe of like, yeah, he's
probably.
fine. Whatever. Familiarity with the Bucks and the Magic front office. That's an interesting one to me.
Yeah, no, I see it. I just don't think Orlando's going to do something like that.
I don't. Are they just going to spend 2 picks? Maybe they're
I
trying
think
to
they
move up.
should.
I feel like they already have
I
young
think they're
guys
kind
that
of
don't
risk
play.
averse.
But I just think they're kind of full. They
Yeah,
could use cheap contracts though.
that's fair. I don't know. That one is interesting to me and I think could be a possibility. I just have my doubts. If you want any indication of, by the way, of what the Bucks are thinking in terms of this,
Yeah, all the
like
workouts.
the workouts are interesting.
Although those are like the reported workouts. There was some report about a lottery pick who said the Bucks were working out his kid too. Like his dad said this. They are pretty shady about who they work out.
That is
I
true.
wouldn't take
I
that as
remember
gospel. It's funny to look at, but I wouldn't take it as gospel.
yes, but to be clear, the reported workouts, which do not represent the full story, a lot of guys who are not projected to be drafted.
Yeah, it was Hunter Salas the top one, I think.
Hunter
Wake
Salas was the
Forest,
top one.
like
Yep.
46, which they're picking
47th
it,
according to Hoop Site.
which is where they're picking. So that's a logical one to work out. Imagine if that's the process. Just like, oh, we're at 47. The guy at 47. That's who we're going to work
Let's just
out.
take a lot of these mock drafts. Let's see who they have going 47. Let's work them out.
Yeah. What if Portland called you, said, well, you know what, our roster's pretty full too. We'll give you 11 for the 31 first. But that's all you get.
11 I would do.
Yeah.
Oh, that's all you get?
That's it.
I think probably.
I mean, that's an interesting, the scenarios, right? Like, you're probably not going to be good in 31. That's obvious, right? Giannis would be 36.
You could be good, though. That's the thing.
You're probably not. You could be, but you're probably not. But how valuable is it, though, to take that pick and be able to make it now while Giannis is still in his prime? I think pretty valuable.
Yeah. I would probably, that's probably the lowest I would go.
Yeah, it would be ideal to do that if you knew the board. If you know who you're going to be able
do it
to
at
take.
like 8.
Or even just like, when they're about
10.
to be on the clock. Yeah. That kind of thing is interesting to me. I don't know how many teams would really do that. Houston at 10, I don't think they would.
Especially for a team that maybe wants to try and get Giannis in a few years.
Yeah, they're kind of poking around there. Oh, Brooklyn has 8, 19, 26, and 27.
Sheesh.
So they're going to do something, I would imagine. That's a lot of picks. But I think they'd rather get more top picks than trade back just because they're a wasteland. Unless they want to tank really bad.
They could. I mean, they're probably going to end up doing that anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if the East is kind of crazy, but yeah, I'd be pretty surprised if they were.
And you also don't even need to tank to get a good pick.
That's exactly. I made that point to someone the other day. Like the Jazz thing.
It doesn't matter if you
we're not going to tank. Like, yeah, I wouldn't tank. Like the teams at 10 keep getting the first pick. Just be out of the playoffs. Don't be the Bulls.
Yeah.
That's the lesson.
Yeah, just don't be the Bulls and Hawks perpetually locked into the 9-10 play-in, and you're good.
Yeah.
John Collins? Speaking of the Jazz, I've been a John Collins hater, and I'm going to continue to be.
Oh, okay. So should they get John Collins? I think not. Hilarious, bring up and deflect there.
See, people aren't expecting that.
That's true. You keep us on our toes. Although, Utah has 21. So, I don't think this is even legal. Let's use Sexton instead because the salary makes more sense. The 31 pick and Kuzma for Sexton and 21 overall. Stuff like that. That's the kind of stuff that's if I can get a player who at least I have a good idea of what they do and the pick, I feel pretty good about that. I do worry about just picks.
Yeah, just picks. I mean, it's tough. If you can get a certified good player, that would also be a good idea.
Yeah.
Especially Sexton, who's a guy we've talked about for a bit now, as kind of a stopgap replacement.
I need something above I don't know, 17, probably even higher, probably 15 if I'm just getting a pick or picks back in this draft. I would definitely not do the 31 for 19 and 27. You just look at the hit rates for those spots. That's the Marjan range.
Yep.
We just know how that goes.
It's the tough range. It's the John Horst avoid range.
Yeah. I mean, you can go back and say, hey, look at this player was 29 and this player was 31. But I think you need to look at, the average.
And the team they went to.
Well, the team they went to, but also just what were the most guys in the late 20s in the Marjan draft, for example. You can say, Christian Brown and Walker Kessler went in the 20s. That's true. Malachi Branham at 20, David Roddy at 23, Marjan at 24, Blake Wesley at 25, Wendell Moore Jr. at 26, Jovic at 27 has been kind of good. Pat Baldwin 28, Ty Washington 29, Peyton Watson 30. Peyton Watson's been pretty good. Took him a little while. Yep, but it's
pretty good.
Mostly, though, those are not real NBA players.
No. David Roddy was good for a minute. A literal minute.
But then Andrew Nembhard, 31. The draft is kind of a crapshoot.
Yep. Kind of is. It's almost like getting the top picks are the priority in the draft.
Even those.
Yeah.
The Halliburton draft continues to get funnier.
Was that 22? Not 22.
Was that? That's no, I think it was earlier because I think it was like a COVID year. It might have been 2020 or
That was
21.
the Wiseman draft, right?
Was that 2020?
It's
Yes.
the Ant
Yes, it
draft.
was. Yeah. So Ant, then Wiseman, LaMelo. LaMelo's been good. I mean, he's been
Pat
LaMelo.
Williams.
But Pat Williams at 4, Okoro 5, Okongwu 6, Killian out of the
Killian
NBA, Hayes at
Hayes.
7, Toppin 8, Avdi at 9, Jalen Smith 10, and then you hit Vassell and then Halliburton at 12. And Maxey at 21. Oh,
Crazy. Pakashevsky at 17, man.
RJ Hampton, the original Bucks pick, wasn't actually their pick at 24. Zeke Naji at 22. Leandro Balmero at 23. Then quickly at 25. Pritchard at 26. Udoka Azubuike at 27. Jaden
Jaden
McDaniels
McDaniels?
28. Yeah, Desmond Bane 30. So this was actually a good late 20s draft. It happens.
Yeah, but it's like every other. And with the Bucks, they're going to be the other.
Yeah, that's what I say. Like if you can
I
get,
just have no faith in the Bucks making a draft pick in the first round that turns out
I
to be
don't have
good.
any
I
faith in
just
any
don't.
team doing it reliably. The teams who end up really
No.
good at it just do it a lot. Again, we just Paku.
They
The
just get
Thunder,
lucky.
the Thunder took Paku, and the Thunder traded the Şengün pick to not get very much back. Like they have made some great picks, obviously, but they had a lot of them. The Chet
Yeah.
one was kind of a no brainer, and then Jalen Williams fell to them in that same draft.
Sam Merrill, 60th overall in that draft.
That was a nice
B-Ball
Bucks
Paul,
pick.
58th.
Sam Merrill, unironically, one of their better draft picks. Justinian
No, the Bucks
Jessup.
didn't make that pick.
Yeah,
Did
they
he?
did. Yeah.
Oh, they did. Yeah, yes.
Yeah, they traded something to do that and Wara.
Yep, that's what it was.
Okay.
Trey Jones, 41.
Cassius Winston, 53. Yam
Ooh.
Madar, 47 in that draft.
Oh boy.
Has not played in the NBA. Not a promising 47. Yeah, if they stay, the draft's going to be a little... Night 2 of the draft is going to be a little boring.
Yep.
Not as boring as if they just trade out, which that's happened before. David Johnson was the 47th pick the next year. That sounds like someone running for like comptroller. And 22, 47 overall was Vince Williams Jr., kind of an NBA player.
Yeah.
That'd be a good result. Mojave King the next year
Ooh.
has not played in the NBA. And then last year, who was 47 last year? Antonio Reeves. Kind of a player.
Yeah. I'd say kind of a player.
So there you go. All right, we're going to talk about more of the prospects we like and not just go through B-ball ref for the old drafts. But first, a word from our friends at PrizePicks, the #1 daily fantasy sports platform where all you do is pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash. You can run your game all seasons long on PrizePicks. And the men's basketball season is wrapping up rapidly. There is a game 4 on Friday, on Flex Friday, that you should certainly check out because you can basically play a no-lose flex play on Flex Friday. You make your flex play, I believe max of $5 on the Flex Friday, and if you lose, you get your $5 back. So make sure to check out Flex Friday for game 4, where you can look at Tyrese Halliburton assists. I'd be a little wary of points at this point with Tyrese, but maybe assists is a good one there. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the points, the more than there has been consistently strong to this point, and you can also get funky with it. I had an Isaiah Joe points the other day on a play that was very close to winning, except Pascal Siakam scored 5 too few points for me. A couple of missed free throws really hurt, but that wouldn't have been the difference anyway. But PrizePicks is a great way to continue feeling like you've got, you're more involved in the games going on, even if your team isn't playing. And our team has not been playing for, God, almost 2 months.
Oh no.
2 months this month, right? They were done before May.
Yeah.
Ugh. The only thing to make me happy after thinking about that is our friends at PrizePicks. Again, check them out. The link is in the description all over the place. More been late, but here is the code. You can get $50 when you play $5 win or lose for the first time. Just make sure you download the PrizePicks app and use code Eurostep, all caps, one word, to get in on this offer. PrizePicks, run your game. All right, Rohan, who do you like? So clearly I did not give you this assignment correctly. So we can.
What's that? What's that, Ty?
What?
Do you not hear the music?
No.
For our game show that we're starting right now.
Okay.
We're starting a new segment called Bucks Bounty. I did not tell you about this at all.
Oh, this is your thing. Okay.
So
the music didn't come through at all.
Oh, dang it.
Your microphone is too good.
Oh, no.
This is awesome.
Dang it. So we're doing a new game show called Bucks Bounty. Who knows how long this is going to be a segment. This is an opportunity where, Ty, I'm going to give you some questions. And based on not even if you get them right or wrong, people can win prizes.
Oh.
I'll let you know what the prizes are and who wins at the end.
Okay.
So let's go. Starting up top, just a few questions here. What rank is Pat Connaughton on the Bucks all-time three-pointers made list?
Not multiple choice. I just have to know.
No.
Okay. I know Middleton is 1. I assume Allen is probably about 2. I don't know how high Craig Hodges is or Brook Lopez is. I'm going to say he is 6th.
So close. He's 5th, actually.
Oh, I was going to say 5th, too.
It's Chris, Ray Allen, Michael Redd, Brooke, and then Pat.
Oh, Michael Redd is who I forgot. Okay, I feel pretty good about that performance, to be honest with you.
Okay. Question number 2. How many Bucks from last season are top 10 in the Bucks three-point percentage as a Buck list?
From last season's team?
Yeah, how many are in the top 10? So this one's an easier answer. It's a max of 10. And do you think it's 10? Probably not.
It's not 10. Single season, I'm guessing? Or is it career? Okay, single season. I'm going to say 3. I'm going to say AJ, Prince, and Trent.
That is correct.
Yeah.
There are 3.
Nice. Is it those 3?
It's Del Curry, number 1, Brent Forbes, 2, Taurean Prince, 3 from this season. Then Javon Carter.
Oh, yeah.
At 4, AJ Green, Keith Van Horn, Kyle Korver, Mike Dunleavy, Gary Trent, and then Dale Ellis.
Shout out to Dale. A name that we don't hear that name enough these days.
No, we really don't.
Let's bring back Dale.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Final question here. Where does Kareem rank on the Bucks all-time block list?
Oh, they didn't count him. Yeah, they didn't count him for some of the years. Otherwise, he'd be number 1, I think, pretty easily. So Lopez is... Ooh. Yeah, Lopez has got it. Well, is Lopez or Giannis 1? I'm going to say those are the top 2. I'm going to say Kareem is 4th because they didn't count some. I'm going to say, is Bogut get in there too?
Kareem is 8th.
Wow.
Yeah.
My guy really got robbed because they just didn't think to track things well enough.
It's Giannis 1, then Brooke, Alton Lister, Harvey Catchings, Andrew Bogut, John Henson.
Oh, yeah.
Irvin Johnson, and then Kareem.
Wow. Let me look up, actually. I hope this doesn't ruin any other questions. How many seasons did they
That's the last question.
Okay.
I knew this was going to be short. Okay, now it's time to reveal how many people are going to win prizes.
4 years. Sorry, 4 years, by the way. 4 years of Kareem's career where they did not count as blocks.
Oh, dang.
13,659 minutes of blocks not counted.
Dang.
Anyway.
Okay. So the prizes from this segment, like how many people are going to win prizes of this inaugural segment of Bucks Bounty, is 0. No one wins today.
Oh, even though I got one?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't understand this segment.
Let's see how long this continues. Is this music going to play?
No, I can't. Your mic's not letting it. Yeah.
Okay, that was Bucks Bounty. Let's get back to the show.
Are you going to ever explain?
No.
Okay, great. So I was going to say, do I do it next week? But I don't know the rules, so I don't think I can.
Who knows if it's going to be there next week?
Okay.
It's all on me.
This is fascinating. All right, well that was Bucks Bounty. Thanks for checking out that segment. I love trivia, so this was great. I was fervently answering Jeopardy questions last night. I gotta watch more Jeopardy. What a great show.
I love Jeopardy, man.
Jeopardy's awesome. This is a false advertising pod, by the way.
Yeah.
45 minutes in, we're just getting to the draft. That's okay. It's a good pod. It's the off season. Who do you really like that you've looked at in the second round?
See, this is a tough question, Ty,
Mm.
because I have one answer to this question, and it's gonna kind of uh, showcase the rest of my discussion. Not really anyone.
Wow, we have opposite opinions on this draft. I love a lot of guys,
Really?
according to ESPN, who are 30 and below.
I think I've finally, just in general in the draft, I think I've finally reached my breaking point after last year
No.
about just trying to think, do I think this guy can be good for the
Mm.
Bucks? I have no idea. I think I've come to realize that. And I think I'm looking at these prospects with it's unfair to them, such a negative light because of the team construct and the draft, how that usually goes. However, there are a lot of second round gems that have occurred. And like I said with the first round, I just don't believe in the Bucks' ability to really do that.
Yeah, Debbie Downer
So
Rohan.
I know, I really
Ignoring the
am.
hit that is Andre Jackson Jr.
Hit.
Potentially.
Potential hit. That's
Well,
a good
how
pick. I'm
about
not
we
going
do
to say that's
this?
not a good
How
pick.
about I'll say some of the ones I like and you can be the wet blanket?
Okay, that works.
Um, oh boy. I'm going to go with a nickname for the first one. This player fascinates me. Bogi Markovic. He's playing in Mega. He is a Serbian. The name is, I got to look this up. I've been going with Bogoljub. It's
Mhm.
Bogoljub. Just a sick name. This
Yep.
guy, so I see the stats and he's like, okay, 6'9" guy. He can shoot a bit. He grabs some boards. Kind of a probably just strictly a four in the NBA. That's interesting. Let's see. Is he a real stiff or what? You pull up the clips. The first clip I see of this guy on offense, just doing a behind the back
Oh,
pass in the lane.
yeah.
This guy is dishing. This guy is super fun. ESPN had him 38th on their big board, so actually in range to just fall to the Bucks at their pick. I mean, that's guys slide 9 picks all the time. So just like a crafty, moves kind of well. Is he going to be an ace defender at the four? Not really. He's not super athletic, but I am a sucker for players who have multiple tools like that. And the shooting, the size, and the playmaking. Like, could this be budget Joe Ingles? That'd be a pretty good result in the mid-second round. So I'm all in on my guy Bogoljub here. One of my favorite
Really
second round
young
prospects.
too
Yeah, a lot of
for a
guys in
second
this
round
class
pick.
are turning 19 soon.
Yeah. I mean, he's going to be turning 20 soon,
Okay, not as young, but still.
but young for the Bucks. That's
And
very young for the
and
Bucks.
unlike the two last year, like has played well in a real league. Is out there in
Mhm.
the Adriatic League putting up buckets on par with like other players from that league who have come and had success in the NBA, like Jovic.
Yeah. I think he's going to probably be like a mid to good 3-point shooter in the league.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be able to do things. I worry about like, kind of, does he need the ball in his hands a lot?
yeah.
He the guy who comes to mind when I think of him is Mamu.
Oh, okay. I see him as a little bit more perimeter than Mamu.
Yeah, no, of course, from that perspective, I just think of more of like an offensive focused guy who likes to be like
Yeah,
involved in the offense, and I don't know how that's going to fit in. However, except like not similar to Mamu, I think he can be an off-ball type player,
yeah,
way more than Mamu, which is kind of what fits with Giannis and kind of what you need to be able to fit with Giannis. Because if this is a guy who you want to be able to, develop, but also maybe kind of play some minutes year one if he can find it,
yeah.
especially if you're doing a Kuzma trade, I think he could fit in. I'm actually like he's one of the guys I don't hate actually. So I'm
Yeah.
glad you brought him
Good.
up first.
Yeah, I just he's one of those where like you see the name and you're like, okay, what's going on here? This is intriguing already. And I encourage people to look up some of the film on Markovic because it's fun to watch, man. And you're just like, okay, if this guy ends up being a 38-ish% 3-point shooter on decent volume, and then you start to close out and he's like breaking guys down and doing behind the back dishes to Giannis for a dunk, like there's something there, I think, as a complimentary player.
I don't know if he's going to get to the 40s.
I don't know. I don't know either. I would assume he doesn't. I just mean like I think it's possible he does.
Yeah. And
Not
the
likely
Bucks,
though.
they've done in the past where they
Yeah.
will trade up in the second round.
Yeah. Trade. I mean, that was Ajax, right? They traded
Mhm.
into get 36. Let me see. What's the full order? Who's got a pick who would probably trade in the set? Charlotte has 33 and 34. Brooklyn also has 36. So Brooklyn has 8,
Brooklyn's going to be
19,
selling a pick.
26, 27, and 36. So that's a good one. Orlando is only one pick ahead of the Bucks, but they
Papa
have one.
Jimbo's got to open up his wallet and pay for a pick.
Seriously. The
He
Spurs
probably
have
will.
38 as well as 2 as well as 14. And then OKC has 44. That's only a couple picks up. So there's a couple options here, I would say, that the Bucks could get up into the 30s if they like someone there. I'll
He
give
just
you a
needs to get his 3-point volume up. That's the
yeah,
thing.
yeah, and that's going
Which
to
I
be a
think I
TBD for
think
a
that
lot
can
of
be
players.
exactly. But in an NBA atmosphere, like that's what you're going to be training to do anyway.
Yeah,
Again, can you be a mid to good 3-point shooter and like kind of space and maybe hold your own defensively? It kind of worries me about the defensive limitations. Like,
yeah,
what are they really going to do with him? Are you going to try to size him up? Because younger players they don't tend to size down really well. They try to size up. Are you going to size him up if he's probably like, what is he listed at? I see 6'11, I see 6'9.
I think he's
It,
6
it kind of
nine.
varies.
I actually let me
Was he at the combine?
no, because I think his season was still going on. Let me see what I've got all the measurables here in the Sam Vecini thing. Oh, that Sam lists him at 6'11 with a 7-foot wingspan. 6'10 and a half is what this says. Somewhere in there. Maybe I undersized him at 6'9, but only 213, so kind of light at this point.
Yeah. So it's like, are you going to be able to put him on threes? Really?
Yeah,
Because
I
I
would
don't
say
think he
probably
can.
not. I think he's kind of stuck at the 4, so that's a little difficult for Milwaukee.
Yeah.
If you have Bob
But
and
could he
Kuz
be a
back.
Giannis at the 5 type 4?
Yeah, that's the idea. But you also have like Tyler
Maybe.
Smith. Maybe you get a little crowded there. I'm intrigued by this player. I'll say that.
Hey, multiple bites at the apple. That's Milwaukee.
That's what you should do. That's a very good point.
Hey,
Um,
Big Miz.
dude, I'm excited
Make
for
sure you
that.
listen to Cruising for a Bruising, man.
Yeah, I am excited about Big Miz. Then here's a guy completely different from this, actually. Totally a different thing, but I am really high on and just kind of can't understand why he's consistently put as low as he is. 43 to ESPN, 36 from Vicini here at The Athletic. Tyrese Proctor. This is the other way, older, 21, not Serbia, coming from Duke where he was like the fourth-ish option. Only 6'4", but big guard,
Hey,
kind of took
I'm never going to complain about a Duke guard.
right? A Duke
Like
guard with pedigree,
before
high pedigree coming out.
before you even get it. Yeah, a big guard, high pedigree, and especially if you don't keep Ryan Rollins.
Yeah, or KPJ.
I think that's a really
Either.
yeah, one of the two. Either, yeah. If you just need a point guard.
Yeah,
you
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 need
just
probably point
and the thing
guards.
about the Bucks. Yeah, it's going to be point guard by committee for the Bucks this season.
Yeah.
So as many bites of that apple as you can get. It's just actually I'll let you go first.
Consistently good, low key assist to turnover, like 2.8 to 1.3. Just wasn't on ball a lot, right? They had Cooper Flag, they had Concanipple, they have the center who's going to go top 10. I mean, a guy who's just going under the radar when you look at Duke players and just wasn't going to be used as much when you have Cooper Flag running things. Took a big 3-point shooting leap this season. I think there's some worry that could be fake, but was that I think above 40%? I'll take the bet though if you're talking about in the second round a high pedigree prospect who got some polish at an elite program. And I'm not comparing them as players. I don't think he's going to be this good of a player by any means. But this reminds me of Booker, where he went a lot higher than this, of course, and is a better prospect and player. But just you're like, oh, why would they take that guy? He just didn't really do much in college. Where you just want to go for the traits more than the production when he's on a team where he just wasn't top 2 or 3 focal point. And that's why I like Proctor. I think if he was fierce, right? Like I'm on Oklahoma, I've got to do everything. I bet he has some pretty crazy numbers and he gets more draft type. So I think this is kind of an opportunity here for a player who came in, struggled early, but has improved and kind of lost that luster for the Bucks to find a good player for cheap.
Yeah. Global Academy guy
Yeah. Sydney,
from Australia.
Australia. Yeah.
I
I
think
said old. He's
if you're gonna
21. Old is relative, not really old by any means.
he's very young for the Bucks.
Yes.
And especially like a second round pick who's like, been in college for a bit. I think it's fine
Yeah.
that age. I
Shades
really
of
do. I think it's
Brogdon.
okay.
I mean, Brogdon was even a lot older. What was Brogdon, like 24?
Yeah, something like that.
I'd be fine
Out
with
of
a guy who
Virginia.
played a bit. I mean, they did the Raw thing last year, and it's just like, are we ever going to see Tyler Smith? We're never going to see AJ Johnson as a Buck.
No. I would honestly prefer more of an experienced point guard. And
Yeah.
that's where Proctor kind of comes into play. I just worry about his like, I don't know. His assist numbers weren't great, but again, he didn't have to do a whole lot. So it's kind of like situation dependent, but it's
Yeah,
like I'd like to see it.
I like the ratio being good makes me feel
And
good about it.
he's used to playing off ball,
Yeah.
which is really important for a Bucks point guard this season.
Yep.
I don't know, man.
I don't. It's not the big. Like I don't want to draft a point
He's
guard.
not no not a rim pressure guy.
Yeah.
Like if you're drafting someone like relatively young, you would want him to have that burst and athleticism getting to the rim, and I don't know if he has that.
Yeah. I think this guy's a lot higher. Who was I looking at? I think Jace Richardson has some Nemhard to him. He was at 20 at ESPN, so this would be a trade up scenario. But shot creator, 40% from three, another 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio guy, but 6'3" with a 6'6" wingspan. So probably just a one or like a 1.5 at the NBA level. I think there's a
Yeah,
lot of wings who I'm more interested in. There's also a
like a
potential
like
Brooke Lopez variant out there, late first.
ooh
Maxime Renault.
yeah 7'1.5"
Yeah, big guy. Dude, shot
out of Stanford, literally a Brook.
five and a half threes per game. Like some of these stretch fives, it's like, oh, he took one per game and shot 26%. This guy was putting them up. I mean, 34% isn't great, but that's a lot of attempts.
What do you think about Jameer Watkins?
I don't know. Give me the Jameer Watkins pitch. This was not someone I zeroed in on.
So 6'6", like 2'3", like combo
Okay.
out of Florida State, senior.
Oh,
Was there
6'11"
was
wingspan.
was their guy. And when I talk about like having an experienced guard, that's kind of what I was looking for.
Yeah.
Like, consistent like 20 point per game guy. He getting he could be a KPJ replacement, probably.
Hmm.
He's not going to be as polished as a scorer.
Yeah, for me, when I went through this, I really prioritized shooting. At least, like, I think they're going to be able to shoot. Just because when I look at this roster, I already feel like they're pushing it on shooters. I mean, we'll see who they bring back. But, like, if Kuzma, Sims, or one of Sims or Lopez, and KPJ are all back, and Ajax, I just kind of feel like you're at your limit. And for Watkins, he was like between 32 and 34% the
Yeah,
last 3 years.
not the best shooter.
Yeah, so I kind of discounted the guys like this. I mean, again, if you want to replace KPJ, like if you think he can do that, then potentially. But I
I'm just
kind of put
looking
a
for I was looking
premium.
for offense.
Okay, yeah. I mean, he certainly has proven he can do that, and he's got a big wingspan, which I do like.
Yeah, not a solid free throw shooter, so it doesn't really project to be, great 3 point shooter.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking about experienced guys.
No, I get that. Cedric Coward is he probably goes too
I'm
high.
sorry, you can't have someone whose last name is Coward.
Dude, 6'6" with a 7'2" wingspan. Seems like an elite shooter, but he missed
Oh,
all
but
but
imagine
six
getting cooked
games.
by Coward.
Exactly. So it goes both ways.
Well, it's true.
I think he's going to go way too high. I think he's going to be a lottery pick, but ESPN had him at 29 and whenever I pulled this from. I also like Sion
Who are
James, who I think is another Duke player.
yes. Zion James was a guy I looked at too. He might go higher.
Let me see where's Vicini has him. ESPN had him at 46, so right there in the Bucks pick range, original pick range.
Like if you want a solid wing who's going to be a 3 point shooter, like that's your guy.
Yeah, and like this highlights, he's yamming dunks, like he's plays above the rim. Vicini has him at 38 on the big board, so in that relative
Is it a
range.
we have Jonathan Kaminga at home type pick?
He's just smaller, which is why he's probably in this range. 6'5" with a 6'7" wingspan. He's 22 already, so I think teams get bored with the guys who are older like that. But kind of the same thing as Proctor of
We have
like,
Jonathan Kaminga in the car. Is
yeah,
that worse than it?
we have Jonathan Kaminga in the shed.
Oh no. Oh no, what are you gonna do to Jonathan Kuminga?
That's just where we have him. We're not doing anything to him, but that's where we have him. James, I like this too because his shooting leap was over 2 years. 41% this year, 38% the year before. Also laced free throws, 81% this season. Just kind of not a big offensive bag, but knocks down some threes, dunks a couple times. Really good assist turnover for a player who's not like a point guard by any means. He had nearly 3 assists per game to 1.2 turnovers and 4 rebounds per game as well on that Duke team. Just like, I think, a good role player who you just plug in immediately, right? Like, this guy is coming off the bench as a 2-3, and we know what he does.
Yeah. No,
What
I
if
think that's
Torian
that's a
Prince played
good
with force?
and was a little smaller
Yes, which is
for
unfortunate. Yeah.
for a good reason. No, it's
Torian.
good that he's a little.
No, I mean, if Torian Prince played like Zion James with the driving at that size, he would be like freaking. I was going to say Paul George. He wouldn't be
LeBron.
that good. No, he'd be good.
Kuminga?
I don't know. I have no point of reference for Kuminga.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
fair.
really have a
I
thought
think
of him
that's
as
what
a
the
player.
Warriors are struggling with.
Yeah, I think so too.
What do you
Um,
think about the Wisconsin kid?
Tanji?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I've seen him mocked to the Bucks in a few drafts.
see, that feels like helmet scouting to me. I was going to ask you what you think about Cam Jones, but we can do this one first. I mean, 6'5" with a 6'9" wingspan, 24 years old, and a pretty good shooter. 20 points per game this season with Wisconsin is good. 5 rebounds, flat assist to turnover. Was not a stocks guy. Gets to the line though. Yeah,
That's going to drop off in the NBA.
a little bit. I mean, he got to the line a lot. 7 per game, which is really like good. 6 threes and 7 free throws per game is like, okay, that's the kind of production you want to see. Like, I think probably this is a bench player, but if you get a good bench scorer at 46, like, that's a pretty good outcome.
Yeah,
So yeah, I would. What do you think about Cam Jones?
I think he's too good.
You think he's gonna go too high?
I think he's gonna be a first rounder, I think.
Oh wow. I think he's
I'm
gonna
also
go
very
early
biased.
30s. Yeah. 32 and Vicini, so it's possible. For me, like he's a little small and the shot has been fluctuated a little too much that I don't think it's a great fit for the Bucks. Personally.
No, I don't think he's gonna be a good Buck. I don't think
Yeah.
so. It'd be similar to like
Kolek.
me talking about Oso last year. Like I like him, but I just don't think he's gonna be a good Buck.
Oso or Kolek, where it was like, yeah.
Yeah, just they'll be good on other teams.
Yeah.
And Oso was. And
Yeah,
Kolek was when he got a chance. Marquette's bringing out good guys.
they are. Rasheer Fleming. This is a late first range. This is what I like about this guy. 6'9", 39% from three. Average 14, 8, and then 1.5, 1.5, 1.5. I love a guy who's just like, yeah, I'm going to do a bit of everything. I'm going to get some steals. I'm going to get some blocks. I'm going to get some assists. I'm going to knock down some threes. Like, he's never going to be, I think, an initiator offensively, which is why he's like late first range. But again, kind of like the Bogey Markovic, just like a big, solid wing who could project as being a more physical player who can rebound and just do like all sorts of stuff and hit threes, which again, very important for me in this.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's like a good archetype to really want. You know what the guy I really want, but the Bucks are not going to be able to get?
Who?
Walter Clayton.
Yeah, Walter Clayton's an interesting one. Total spark plug.
Just
Really good shooter.
could he be like Peyton Pritchard?
I think
I think
he
he could.
I think he could at
I think he could be
least.
better.
I don't know if he'll defend like Pritchard.
Yeah, because he can't get away with as much.
Probably. And if Boston takes him, he could be a problem. I think he could probably come in and be like this year's Sam Merrill. Like right now. Not like Sam Merrill when he
Yeah.
was a rookie. Like,
Elite shooter.
yeah. And from different like positions and stuff as well.
Yeah. And trusted with the ball in his hands. Like that's my ideal point guard for the Bucks. He's just gonna go too high.
I don't
Like
know.
that's a late
His
first.
age is scaring teams. I could see early second, but I agree. He's not going to be at 46. Oh,
If there was a guy,
Vicini
I
has him
would
all the way at 20. Wow.
wow. If there was a guy who I think the Bucks should zero in on, but you don't have to like trade actual assets for him, like for you with Carter Bryant, it'd
Yeah.
be Walter Clayton for me.
Okay, you're really high on the Florida man.
I've watched a lot of Florida basketball this year. just
Yeah.
personally.
Yeah.
So I've seen a lot of him, and it looks really good.
Clutch Gene.
Yeah, absolutely. National national champs.
I like Neat Clifford as another late first guy, 23, 5'8" with 6'8" wingspan, wing, 23. But again, just like plug and play, 37% from three, 2 years in a row. Projects as a defender. Like, could this guy be a budget Neesmith? I think yeah. I think there's a lot of players like that in that like 20 to 40 range who I'm interested in that. And then
Yeah.
this guy Hugo Gonzalez, just a total wild card that I probably wouldn't want the Bucks to take, but I'd be interested if they did.
Fair. I mean, it's the one interesting thing about the back end of this draft, and I guess because it's just the NBA in general, not a lot of bigs who you would really want, especially if you're keeping Jericho Sims. I think this is the first time in a while where I'm like, do the Bucks need to draft a big? Actually, that's a good question. Do you think the Bucks need to draft a big?
Depends what you plan to do with all of their bigs. So on the one, like I feel like we just keep projecting forward to like Portis is back, Sims is back, Brook is gone. They could all be gone, or they could all be back. So if I'm the one calling the shots in the front office, I'm
Do some
bringing back
tampering.
I'm bringing back Portis and Sims, and then you probably don't need one between those two guys and Giannis. Like Johnny Broom is a little interesting to me. He's a little undersized but big wingspan, kind of stretchy, just does a lot of things which I like. This guy,
Little Rocco Zakarski.
it's just too raw for me. I don't want to add just straight up projects at this point. Yannick Conan Niederhauser, the 22-year-old, is just like a big rim runner. That guy makes a little bit of sense, but maybe if you don't bring back Sims, like I don't know if you need him and Sims, he might just never play.
Yeah, if you're not bringing Sims back, you don't need a project big man who can't shoot.
Right. So yeah, I would say I probably prioritize bigs last. I put Reynau on my list just because like there's some Brook Lopez in him, and I just think that player is valuable. And I know his foot speed is listed as a problem. I assume he's still faster than 36-year-old Brook Lopez or 37-year-old
You
Brook
would
Lopez.
hope so.
If he's not, then he's
If
probably
not,
undraftable.
yes.
Although Klingon had a good year, so there's lanes for those players.
Klingon is faster than Brook,
I think it's close.
but he is. It is kind of close. It's closer than you would think.
It's a little close for a
Klingon
guy
went,
who
what,
also
10?
also doesn't shoot. Yeah, I mean he had a pretty good year. I'm still low on him as a guy. But Ray no, if they had a late first, like yeah. But also I don't know. I think
Amari Williams.
wing is what I want the most. I just think you can never have enough like 6'4" through 6'8" guys who can defend, shoot, and dribble. So if they get even one of those, I'd be very happy. The guards, like if they're in the right spot, like Proctor would be interesting. I just think though, like if you're looking at we want to win a title in the next 2 years with Giannis, which is ambitious, but I think that should be the goal. Wing is probably the most important thing.
Absolutely.
No, if you get a guard, you probably need a Dame off-ramp plan. If you really believe in Proctor, that's
No, but
pretty damn important
if
too.
you want to win a title in the next 2 years, I think wing is most important.
Probably.
Zion James, man.
Zion James. I like Zion James. Chaz Lanier. To me, just a chucker.
Yeah.
Pretty good 3-point percentage. Tennessee guard, older. I just think kind of just
Do you get what I
chucks away.
mean now, where it's like none of these guys really stand out to me?
Yeah, I guess I had a different view because I didn't do just
You
second
have such a
round guys.
positive view on life now, Ty, that you're a dad.
Well, and yes, but I'd have a lot of guys in the first too. That makes it look better. If they sit at 46, it's pretty low chance.
I'm just trying to give your kid some credit.
I appreciate that. I'm just trying to give Bogeljub some credit. I wonder how you pronounce this.
I don't know. We're definitely doing it wrong, and I apologize.
He goes by bogey, so that makes it easy. Although I feel like we're probably hitting critical mass on the amount of bogeys we can have in the NBA.
That's what, 3? No, Bojan retired, didn't he? Or am I making that up?
No, I don't, did he?
Am I making that up?
I don't know.
Why would I be Googling Bojangles near me when I type in Bo? No, I don't think he did. I think I'm just making that up.
Yeah, I mean, he has not been able to play very much. AI Overview, which is notoriously untrustworthy, is saying Bogolyub.
Bogolyub? Okay.
Bogolyub. That makes more sense than Bogolyub. So Bogolyub Markovic, my guy.
I think my guy is kind of like my guy is Walter Clayton,
Yeah.
but then I would probably go like a Sion James.
I'd say, yeah, Sion Proctor is my guy also. And
I'm
then
not like I don't hate Tanji
Tanji's interesting.
or Jameer Watkins.
And then Bryant and Coward are my guys who I just realistically, there's probably no shot. But if they
Yeah,
somehow got like 15 and one of those guys was on the board and they didn't take them, I would react so poorly.
that's fair. But you would only be disappointed if they don't turn out to be good, like me and Marjan.
True. But I think it was worth it for you. Draft night was it was so fun for you that year.
Draft night was awesome. Just it was the ensuing couple of years that were not great.
I don't think I've ever had that moment. I liked Tyler Smith at like 23 last year, so that was nice, but I wouldn't say he was like my number one. He was pretty high on my board though. So kind of
yeah,
that.
he was high on both of our boards.
Yeah.
We were even like switch the AJ Johnson and Tyler Smith picks and we're good.
It's like that's how you look at every Raiders draft. They always end up with someone like who should not go in the first, but then their second round pick is usually good. That's what the Bucks did last year. And then they traded the guy anyway.
Traded the guy who might have ended up actually being the best guy.
Yeah.
Great business. For Kyle Kuzma, by the way.
I will say, it is nice to be out of the second apron.
It is very nice to be out of the second apron. You could have also just dumped Pat to get out of the second apron.
I know. I am well aware. You're well out of it now. But you look at the teams who are stuck in the second apron and you're like, ugh. The Suns are just like, okay, I guess
Can we trade Kevin Durant and not take any salary back?
Yeah.
Is that possible? Can we just say, hey, here's a Kevin Durant. Take him, please?
The Brooklyn, I think, maybe could do that.
It's like, imagine you're KD and you're just back in Brooklyn, but this time without Kyrie.
With none of your friends.
No. It's like, wait, I came here on my own volition. Now I'm being sent here as punishment? How did this happen? This has all happened in 2-3 years?
Yeah, it goes quick, man. Very funny that KD had to sit around and wait for his trade now and for this to pick up because all the teams were like, we might be able to get Giannis. We'll check back in on you, KD.
And it's like, okay, KD, we always wanted you.
Oh, yeah, KD. I guess I just saw a report he wants to go to the Spurs while we're on the pod.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That makes the most sense. I think that trade probably gets done next week.
Yeah, they say that's what Windy said today. Draft is going to be when all the trades happen.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks from today.
Week? 2 weeks from today?
I think.
Is that on a Tuesday?
No, I'm doubting myself.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, no, sorry, Wednesday. 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Okay.
Wednesday and Thursday.
And Thursday.
Yep.
2-day draft. The green room invitees were sent out.
They were. Carter Bryant, I think, was on the list, which made me sad.
Carter Bryant is on the list.
Is Coward on the list?
No.
Hope.
I mean, you could also just invite these guys and they just don't get drafted. That happened last year.
It happens every year, but it's, it gives you an idea of like where their spots are perceived to be. Yes or no, will the Bucks do something? Not just necessarily a pick, but something.
Will there be a transaction that's not a draft pick?
No. I'm saying on night one, will the Bucks do something? Either like get a pick and use it or like make some sort of a trade.
I say no. I'm leaning no.
I just think a lot of their business is going to be free agency oriented. I'll say yes for the content though.
That's fair. But what do you actually believe?
Probably no.
So
I don't think it's going to be very horse to be like, I'll take 2 late firsts for our pick that we could get like, I don't know.
And also like have some self-awareness, man.
But imagine if he undid it this year.
Or maybe he's like, I have the ultimate job security. They just
Yeah.
gave me an extension. They're not gonna fire me when Giannis is in the balance. I'm
I'm
just
the
gonna do
honest
whatever.
I'm the honest
He's
guy
like, I'm
now.
fine. He's unshackled. He's unchained. He's like, I'm
Literally.
ready.
I mean, he's the honest guy now.
Yeah, that's a good way. It's a good way to be known.
It's great job security.
It's amazing job security,
Thanasis is
especially
going
in
to get hired
Milwaukee.
again.
I can't wait. That is gonna hit. And when I get
That
that
is
notification, that's gonna hit.
celebrating July 4th and just waiting for the TA bomb. I mean,
No, that's gonna be a June 30th.
It's going to be on Thanalysis, right? Like that's how that's going to. They should drop an episode at whatever the legal tampering thing is and announce it on that episode. So it literally had to have
Have
been
John
recorded
Horst
before.
as the guest and him
Oh my
offering the
God.
contract.
Dude, I will say the way they've picked up like their guests of production value, I would not put it past the Thanalysis crew.
No, absolutely
TA
not.
signing the contract live on pod, pure electricity.
Yeah, they have to bring him to wherever they record.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna dox them, but
there you go. A studio, the stew.
the stew. Or I mean, it's not you could go down to the Bucks offices.
Yeah. I mean, they
Just
could
do
record.
bring
They
all
could
your
record it there. Yeah.
Yeah, just bring the mics, get everything set up.
I mean,
Bring
they
producers,
like the
you're all
Bucks'
good.
own content team always does it. Like when Giannis or someone signs, which is not a
Yeah.
stretch to just like let's just make this a podcast.
And I want to hear like it has to be like an hour-long podcast and how the negotiations went
Oh my
and all of
God.
that. It's like, what have you been doing in this? We've been keeping an eye on you. We've been rehabbing.
Honestly, I need to look. I don't know if they retain his bird rights or not. I'm gonna look this up. I mean, I assume it will be vet minimum either way, but some different flexibility options depending on if they still have those
Max.
or not. We're going back in the second apron, boys.
It's worth it. Honestly,
No.
no.
Okay.
But
Thank you. No.
a vet min though.
Yes. Yeah. 100% worth it. I'm in.
Yeah. Doesn't look like there's going to be any coaching staff openings, so they might hire more. Do you think they're going to hire more
Well,
assistants?
they might shift some around. They might get rid of some.
Yeah,
Like he
it'd be really
legitimately
funny if
has
they
too
added a
many.
fourth row.
Oh my God. That's
It's like
also
no,
possible.
you know what? We didn't have enough insight. We need more.
Yeah. I do feel like they have too many guys
Doc's
who
calling us up.
like that. I would do it for very little comparatively. They do have too many guys who like figure to be higher on a coaching staff than they are on the Bucks coaching staff. There's a prediction.
Yeah.
I don't think all of Ham, Yeager, Prunty, Kalamian, Rondo, I guess, etc. I don't think all of those guys are back.
No, there's got to be some sort of shift there.
Because one of them is whatever, fifth, and I just think those guys have been like second or
And that's
third
Prunty, I think.
on benches. I don't know. Prunty usually has a good spot on the bench.
Yeah.
Kalamian is the one.
But like Doc never talks about Joe Prunty.
But he does interviews. Kalamian is the one who I think did the defense last year, and then I'm forgetting who they bring in to do the defense.
Oh, it's
from the
why
Cavs.
do I keep wanting to say Greg Buckner?
It is. No,
it is Greg Buckner.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
No, it's not. Is it?
Yes, you're getting him confused with Quinn Buckner, but it is Greg Buckner.
Yes, I am getting him confused with Quinn Buckner.
I just did the same thing. So Greg Buckner also in that top group, and I think he's kind of supplanted some of the other coaches. I don't know. I mean, I don't know the inner workings. They don't assign like a defensive coordinator, but we do know Buckner does the defense, and we knew Kalamian did it the year before.
And we know Ham is the associate head coach.
Vibes guy.
Yeah.
Ham is the safest.
Do you think Taurean Prince dictates where he goes, or he dictates where Taurean Prince goes?
I think it's a push and pull.
So if Taurean Prince signs elsewhere, do you think Ham's going to follow him?
So you're asking me which of them is the big fish that swims around and which of them is the little fish that latches on?
I was going to say big spoon, little spoon, but we can do that one instead. I think it is kind of a push and pull.
I think Ham proves out the scenario and then brings in TP. Yeah. Genuine friendship to the Bucks' detriment.
Yeah, because I think Ham was on the Lakers and then TP signed there, and then he was on the Bucks and then Taurean Prince signed with the Bucks. So what happens if the Bucks don't bring back Taurean Prince?
Does Ham
Is this going to
quit?
be the first time that they've been separated in a few years?
Then a new team wins the NBA Cup. That's what happens then.
Oh no. We can't let that happen.
Yeah, if you want the season to be a success in your terms, we need to keep Ham and Prince.
Or maybe it's just one of them. This is the experiment
True.
to see which one's really worthy, like is the driving force behind NBA Cup champions.
I feel bad for the Taurean Prince discourse because I think if the Bucks had a modern head coach, he'd be a fine player to have.
I think he'd be an elite player on a Bucks team that was run correctly.
Yeah. Bud would
He's
have
just
used the hell out
an
of Taurean Prince.
oh my goodness, yes. Uh, he's overtaxed, and which is why I always felt bad talking bad about Taurean Prince because it's like he's being put in the worst positions possible.
Bud was telling Chris Middleton to do less. Imagine if Bud saw some of the shots Taurean Prince took and was the active coach of the Bucks.
Imagine he was like, "Yeah, Taurean Prince, you were my starting shooting guard."
I never
that's the
thought
thing
I never thought I'd pine for Grayson Allen like this, but that's where we've been. Although Gary Trent's here, so I don't need to do that
that's
really.
fair.
Well, hopefully here.
Hopefully he's here. Is Grayson a free agent?
No, they extended him.
Oh yeah,
He's
that's
making
right.
15 mil a year now.
Hmm.
And they bring him
Maybe
off the
Trent
bench,
is my
I
new
think.
son.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I prefer Trent. Also, Doc's staying, right? It's
think
gone
so.
long enough. Yeah, it's gone long enough.
I guess he's anti-Milwaukee because they traded Chris Middleton, but I think Beal could actually get bought out.
Really?
If there's one guy crazy enough to do it.
You think they can't stretch it?
They absolutely could. They don't care.
They could. I mean, they can't. They shouldn't.
No, they shouldn't. I wouldn't even stretch Pat Connaughton for like the $3 million spread out. I certainly would never stretch Beal, but I think it's possible.
I think they would just eat a year. Well, it's not just 1 year.
It's not just 1 year.
Being stupid. It's got 3 years left or 2.
It might actually be too. You know what? I think it's too big to stretch. Actually, there's like a rule on how much salary.
No, you can stretch it.
No, you can't.
You can't? Oh.
No, I think you can only stretch. Yeah, no, it's right here. 2 months ago from the Suns Reddit. Because you can't have dead salary be more than 15% of like a future year.
That's demoralizing.
Yeah. So you just
imagine
have to
having a contract so big you can't actually stretch it.
Yeah, I mean you can still waive him, but you just have to take the hits as they are, I think.
Yeah. Because he's at 53.7 this year. And he has a player option for 57.1 next year.
God. Same timeline as the Dame contract, but even bigger and with a no trade.
Yep.
Crazy.
Do you think if he gets bought out, do you think he's just gonna I just want to stay here. Do I even need to play basketball anymore?
He just lives in Phoenix. He buys season tickets and just sits in there.
That'd be really funny. I could see him doing that.
I don't know where he'd go. I mean, listen, I think the Bucks could use him for sure if he's on like a bought out vet minimum. I mean, he's a pretty good player still offensively.
Yeah, they can sign him because they're out of the second apron.
Yeah.
Actually, it wouldn't matter. That's only for mid-season.
Yeah.
Buyout guys. But you think there's actually a chance that he gets bought out?
I think literally everything with Phoenix is in play.
That's fair. I think it's crazy that like Durant and Beal combined are like a bigger payroll than some teams.
Yeah. Like 120
because that's like
million?
100-something million right there. Insane.
I would like to make $50 million for 1 year.
That sounds awesome.
I don't even need the no trade. Send me anywhere.
Yeah. Waive me. I don't care.
That's even better.
I'll even give you a percentage back.
Well,
Ty, if I could go play on an NBA court, I might get killed.
I think what would be worse, giving you a $50 million contract or what Nico Harrison did?
Is it 50 mil for 1 year?
Yeah, let's say 1 year. You're not getting 250.
So like
So
let's say
it's
you're
a Bruce
Dallas.
Brown situation.
No, I meant like 50 over like 4 years.
No, 1 year, 50 million.
So let's say we're the Mavs, right?
Yeah.
And it's like Luca, Kyrie, Daniel Gafford, all these guys, PJ Washington, and me
Yeah.
at $50 million. Would you rather have that or Kyrie and AD and just the current Mavs and Cooper Flag?
Let's put the Cooper aside because that was just pure luck or a rigged lottery, one or the other. I think legitimately
Allegedly.
luck. I think it was actually not. I'd rather have you on the fifth. I can just get rid of you. Sorry, but like I'd rather have a bad player on a bad contract and a great player on a great contract than neither.
That's like us with Doc and Giannis.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to watch Duck. I don't want to watch Doc coach the Bucks again, but
Doc Rivers.
like would I rather have Kenny Atkinson coaching the 2012 Bucks? Hell no. Not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close. Or pick any coach. Spo. I don't want to watch Spo coach Monta Ellis and Brandon Jennings. I'm good.
No, that doesn't sound fun.
No, it won't be. Trust me, we'll be there soon enough, and it won't be fun. And
We
I'm
get
glad
Spo?
we're not there yet. Spo would
That'd be
literally
awesome.
pull all of his hair out.
Get ready to learn Tyler Smith, buddy. He'd weaponize the hell out of Tyler Smith.
I think, I don't know, man. I think he might just give up.
It's like I'm gonna retire.
Yeah. I'm going to do the Bud
What was
thing.
that guy on the Red Sox who said he would like rather retire than play for the Yankees or something?
Oh, I don't remember who it was, but yeah,
I was watching baseball because it was on the Yankees Red Sox game. And the
yeah,
funniest thing happened. We'll end with this. They were interviewing mid-inning Jazz Chisholm,
yeah,
and like he's mic'd up as they're playing, which I
yeah.
think is really funny.
Baseball is insane for that, but it works.
Actively asking the questions about whether he one question they asked him was, would you rather hit a walk-off home run or have your own anime?
What did he
And
say?
these are he said the anime.
Wow.
I mean, I would take that.
Yankees fans are delusional enough to be pissed about that, I'm sure.
Oh, 100%. But the real funny thing is they were mid interviewing him, and he obviously pauses when the ball, like when the pitch
Yeah.
is thrown, right? Because he takes priority over the game. He's just mic'd up. The ball comes towards him. He does a random 360 spin throw that goes way past the first baseman. And, like, he's just like mid interview, and then he was just like tough play because he's still mic'd up.
You can always
And then you could hear the commentators like, hey, yeah, that was a tough play. It was a tough play. Don't worry about it. And it's just a clear, massive error.
you can always tell when a guy knows, like he lets the mic'd up get to him. Like you ever watch like the NBA mic'd up and the guys are just saying like inspirational gibberish to their teammates. Just like, all right, man, like you're not gonna get a leadership award for this. Like you don't have to put on airs. Like maybe don't do the 360 throw. You know, when do you practice that shot dot gif? Like you just doing that because you're mic'd up. I think maybe you are.
You should look that up. It's really funny.
I'm gonna have to. That's hilarious.
And I'm just watching this happen, and I'm like, I'm gonna be honest. I don't watch a lot of national baseball, but I'm like, does this happen every year in broadcast or
I think it
something?
does.
That's insane.
Yeah, they're just like, it's a low activity sport, so you can talk and play at the same time.
Just I watched the clip back and it's just a replay of the commentator. I don't know what his name is. Just say,
Yeah.
yeah, tough play. I've watched it so many times.
I think for the All-Star game they do pitchers, which that's really crazy.
While they're pitching,
Yeah.
do you hear like the grunt or
Yeah.
whatever? Insane.
They did the bigger guy from the Blue Jays who was good for like a year and a half. I'm pretty sure I remember.
Alec Manoa or
Yeah, I'm
whatever.
pretty sure I remember him doing it once. And it was
Oh
about as
yeah.
crazy as you'd think.
It's just really funny.
That was probably the worst content one. I mean, it was funny to watch him like grunt, but like obviously he's not giving good answers. It's such a, you're like doing the signs and thinking about your approach and you're
Like
so
it's okay to
focused.
do it for a position player.
Yeah, you're just standing there for the most part. I mean, it's mostly outfielders who are literally, it's just like
I know that's what it's like. Do outfielders, don't do infielders.
infielders tough.
as we saw it through Jazz.
Yeah.
It's really funny. I recommend people go find that.
Yeah,
But
I'm gonna watch
if we're
that.
talking about baseball, we'll leave that to Adam and Andrew talking about the
Yeah.
Brewers on Cruising for a Bruise, and they got Jacob Mizorowski getting called up. Play
Thursday night versus the Cards, appointment viewing. That game is gonna be good.
Oh yeah, he's going to be starting for them. He's the Brewers' top overall ranked pitcher. I think they're fourth best prospect overall, and
Yeah.
one of the top prospects in baseball. So that's going to be really fun.
A top either top 30 or number 30 prospect in baseball.
I think number 30, according to one person, obviously.
Yeah.
But a consensus top prospect in baseball, one of the best pitching
Oh yeah.
prospects. So that's gonna be fun.
We've been waiting for a while to see him, so very excited. And hopefully Yoho is up next.
Ooh, now just bring up Mate.
Is Yo-Ho Ho and a bottle of rum too long of a nickname?
Yes, especially because you don't play for like the Pirates.
Wow, if he was on the Pirates, that'd be damn good, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
Yo-Ho
it'd be
Ho and
really
a bottle of beer?
doesn't hit the same. I like the concept though. I really do. I think
We
it could
need
work,
longer
even though he's not.
nicknames.
Yeah,
You know what the worst thing about modern sports is?
the lack of nicknames, like the big fundamental.
There's a
and stuff
lot
like
of
that.
worse things, but in this moment, to me, we've just done this thing where it's just initials now. Every new
AE,
player.
KD, JT.
Yeah, every player is just JB. The
You
Bucks,
telling me AE drinks Sprite?
yeah,
Sorry,
the
no
AE
offense.
one is like, what? That's Ant-Man. I mean, he has a nickname. Like, we lost the Brow because he just became AD.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate.
Like, we used to just have the chairman of the boards, the round mound of rebound. Like, we had good nicknames. And now it's
You
just
know,
like,
we
what are this
could-
guy's initials?
Cooper Flag could be the main event,
That's
which could bring
good.
that back.
Yes. And then watch, this time next year, it's CF. Great place, CF. Center fielder. Back, like Night Train Lane, a cornerback they
Oof.
called Night Train. That's so sick, dude.
I know we really don't have that kind of creativity anymore.
No, like Dame Time is pretty good, but most of the Greek Freak is good. Thankfully, they haven't just gone full GA, but too many of these modern players just like
I feel like some people they call him GA, but like his
they do,
nickname isn't
is
GA.
the Greek Freak. Yeah, he's got one of the best ones active. There's
Yeah.
not many good ones. KD ruined his.
Yeah,
Could have
I
been
mean, he had his
Slim
own
Reaper
good
or
reasons.
Durantula. They were not good reasons.
Didn't his friend die or something? And that's why he didn't
Durantula,
want to be
though?
Slim Reaper? No, for Slim Reaper.
Well, I know. I'm saying he had two.
Durantula is really good.
Yeah, he could have gone
Durantula,
by
yeah, I'm gonna
either.
blame
And
that on that.
he pivoted and said, "I'm going to be the servant." Horrible.
That was crazy.
Obviously wasn't going to catch on.
Did he expect people to call him
Yes.
the servant?
He said, "I don't like any of them. I want to be the servant." And everyone said, "Okay, you're KD."
That's crazy. Yeah, that's his fault.
Yeah, that's 100% his fault.
Man, yeah, Durantula is really good.
Yeah,
Wemby's just is Wemby, or we're gonna call him the alien, or
it's probably just Wemby. Which, yeah, that's the other one. It's just shorten the name.
yeah.
Luka-
Porzingis and the
Luka-
unicorn wasn't bad.
That was okay. Luca doesn't really have a nickname. Wonder Boy
No.
was the one coming in, and that's just like a little too weird, I think.
Yeah, make sure you check out the book.
Yeah. Tim McMahon.
Like,
why don't we have Big Play Shea?
well,
It's just-
Tyrese has his own nickname now that I don't know if I can say.
I don't even know what it is.
It's not the moment; it's something else.
Are they calling him the Climax? That's a good one. Take that into consideration. Underrate that. I don't know what you mean. Oh, are you talking about the play on the bad organization?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's not a real nickname. That's online only. Well, it seems like a synonym for moment. I don't know. I think that should catch on. But yeah.
Big play from the Climax here. He's getting to the rim. His Climax gonna get there. He's
Imagine the NBA account having to tweet like, Best plays, best assists from Climax 2025, 26.
Crying.
I don't know where that came from. I don't know. I just like the moment I thought of clutch time and yeah. I'm
Big
going to
play
stand by
shade's
it.
good. I like that.
But it's just SGA.
Yeah. Is it because if it's like an ease to say sort of thing?
Yeah, I think it's, you know what I think it is like the old school ones were like TV and radio were the format, and now it's like Twitter. And everyone's
Yeah.
lazy. And nobody wants to type Shea Gilgeous-Alexander or even a nickname when they can just do SGA.
Big play Shea. I do like that.
Like, does Tatum ever have a nickname?
The anomaly.
Oh my God.
Do you not
Terrible.
remember this?
Well, no. Was that, did they
No,
try
they
to
tried
do
to
that? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they tried to
Terrible.
force the anomaly on him. It's terrible. It's a
Terrible.
horrible nickname.
I saw they're calling Julius Randle dubious handle. That's very funny.
That one's good.
I wouldn't like
I'll say
that.
people have better nicknames for when they're trying to clown a guy.
Right. Which is sad. That's where
Yeah.
we're at as a society. Though.
It's funny though.
Yeah. It's
Dubious
fun.
handle's really
Dubious
good.
handle's really good.
Like that's creativity.
It is. It sounds so similar.
Yeah. The Halliburton nickname that I was talking about is something different.
Yeah. That's why I think
That'd be really
let's
fun.
go the other way. Maybe
Is that the
Mr. Climax. Is that
Mr.
better? It just means the word just means, you know, the moment where the action rises in a story. That's what that word
Imagining
means.
Tyrese Halliburton going up to the podium and someone said like, "Hey, they're calling you Mr. Climax."
I mean, I think I don't know. I don't know him.
I think Mr. Climax is so much worse than the Climax. Or maybe he wants to be known as Mr. Climax. James Bond, Mr. Climax.
I think I'm not going to say any names. I think there's some active players in the league that would fight him for the nickname. I think they'd be like, I think there's a guy in New Orleans who might say, "Hey, what do you mean?"
or Minnesota.
Or Milwaukee, if we're keeping it a buck. The bellman himself.
Yeah, that's true. He would probably he would welcome it.
Oh,
He'd start
100%.
calling himself Mr. Climax.
He would, yeah, he'd be like,
He'd be like, hey, Dave, do you see they're calling me Mr. Climax?
oh my God, Giannis in the background of Dame interview. I hope they interview Dame throughout next year, even if he's not playing, because I like hearing from him, and I know.
I agree with you though. I wish they would because he's actually he's a really good interview and has been throughout his entire career.
And for whatever reason, he brings out the funniest of Giannis in the background.
Yeah, I hope we get just a completely unhinged Giannis season. We need that.
I think he's been acting more unhinged. Ways.
He's been acting more unhinged lately than I've ever seen him, and I just need that energy.
He's having
just
a
go
great
back to
time.
Just killing dudes.
He's having a great time with the bros in Brazil.
Yeah,
I think he feels the freedom.
Yeah.
Like, there's no, like, I got to figure out the me and Dame thing. It's just weird. It's just like, I'm just going to go do my thing now.
I know exactly what I need to do for the Bucks next year.
I shared the on-off. They were better last season with just Giannis than they were with Giannis and Dame on together.
Yep. Oh, man.
They were better with neither on than they were with just Dame on, too, which is concerning.
That is concerning.
But I guess not for next season.
Nope.
Until the end, which...
I mean, they'll have neither on whenever Giannis sits. So.
Right. They were like -1 in those minutes net rating, which is not good, but kind of to be expected.
I think that's a win. If you're playing around.
Yeah, if you're treading water is the goal in the non-Giannis minutes. All right, we're way over.
Just don't be like the current Pacers, who are absolutely getting obliterated in the non-Halliburton minutes.
They're either climaxing or climbing.
I think it's just they're climax. I'm going to stop talking.
Yeah.
And on that note,
I don't know where this came from.
Well, either the moment, and you're like, yeah, they're calling him Mr. Climax.
The comments are gonna be radical. Unfortunately, people are still listening. Like, our numbers are still good. I wish I could say like, oh, this is gonna be a random off-season pod. Oh, well, welcome to the Gyro Step experience.
This is the best of it, I
Yeah.
will say.
Yeah.
But thank you for sticking around, hitting that moment with us here.
The moment. You set me up. They're not calling him the moment. I was like, okay, it must be like a big
You could
moment.
say literally anything else. No one's asking you to call him the climax. You could have said everything. Like they could have said it's Halley time or something.
That's terrible.
It is, but it's better than the climax.
I would argue
Like
it's not.
no one forced you to say that. You can't say I set you up when saying, oh, literally anything else besides the moment. That's not my fault you said that.
That's fair. But I was thinking like synonyms. That's what I'm saying.
No,
Whatever.
they're calling him something else. They're banning him, some might say.
I mean, he did the big balls. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. That is true. I'm starting to like him a little, which is
I'm
bad.
in. I wasn't.
not.
I didn't give him that as
I
a
respect him. I don't
derogatory.
like him.
That's fair.
Yeah.
He's a kid from Oshkosh.
He's just a kid from Oshkosh.
Me and him are two of the most famous ties from Oshkosh in the world. In
That
some
is true.
order.
I'd say you two are the most famous ties from Oshkosh.
I don't know. A lot of people come from places. There could be others. Is Ty Law from here? Like, I don't think so.
Who's Ty Law?
He's a cornerback for the Pats. He's showing your age with that one. He was a good cornerback for the Pats in like 2000s.
I thought you were going to say Ty Lawson. I guess I redeemed my age then.
There you go. Yeah, that was an older one. No, I don't think he's from Oshkosh.
Is Ty Law from Oshkosh, or are you just saying?
No, you're just saying that.
Okay. Ty Law is from Pennsylvania.
Not a lot of people named Ty. So, yeah, you're right. It's probably me and him pretty securely.
I think so. Take it. You could be the second most famous tie. No, from
top two.
Oshkosh.
Top two.
Top two.
Certainly a top two NBA adjacent or Central Division adjacent tie from Oshkosh.
Okay. You could have stopped at NBA adjacent.
I want to be careful.
What other tie? If you're a tie is NBA circles from Oshkosh, Wisconsin, that's not Tyrese Halliburton or Big Ty Windisch, let us know, because we don't know who you are.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of proves our point.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. We've gone too long.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Gyro Step here on Blue Wire and GSPN. Appreciate everyone who's sticking through this. We should just turn into us just talking. Which is what we always do.
At one point, I forgot we were still recording.
That's fair. But make sure you subscribe wherever you're listening to this or watching podcast platform of choice or YouTube. Leave a 5-star rating and review on your podcast platform of choice. Engage in that comment section, which is going to be ripe with climax jokes, I think.
Yeah.
On YouTube. But check out gspn.info for all our links. Pod random. We'll talk to you next time.